What is AI? What is artificial intelligence?
Completely personalized assistants that have access to all our data that are actually ours.
Why are people so afraid of artificial intelligence?
As the first generation that is developing AI, we are responsible to put it on safe rails, of course. But at the same time, there are some expectations that might exaggerate the risks.
What is an AI
agent? That everyone would have their servant. And this is quite a sophisticated metaphor because
where is this data coming from, and how do we protect our humanity and our privacy?
Generally speaking, we will connect these AI assistants to our data flow, day-to-day data flow, our emails, our photos, health information, financial information, family information, and all the other sensitive types of data. And
what's good, people? I'm Lorraine K, and this is WTF Web3, where we always bring culture to crypto and hear from the pioneers building out their future of emerging tech. Let's get straight into the headlines. NVIDIA sent stocks flying in recent weeks after the announcement of their $100 billion investment into ChatGPT's parent company, OpenAI. Now, Sam Altman has announced that he'll be using the extra funds to finance their data centers as they race to become the biggest global infrastructure for artificial intelligence. MetaMask, the popular self-custodial crypto wallet that supports ERC20 tokens, has announced recently that they will be launching their very own token mask. Now, the CEO, Joe Lubin, has announced in the past that there would be a native token. However, in a recent interview, he hinted towards a token that will be coming out sooner than we think. Let's take a look.
Will MetaMask have a token at some point, maybe in the near future?
The mask token is coming. It may come sooner than you would expect right now. And it is significantly related to the decentralization of certain aspects of the MetaMask platform.
It looks like Mask is coming to your favorite dApp and also to centralized exchanges such as Binance. So this is great developments for MetaMask, who've always been supporters of the Ethereum ecosystem. And yeah, they've been doing amazing things, including a digital card, payment card, where you can now spend your ERC20 tokens directly from the app, as well as now find their brand new token Mask promoted directly in the app when that launches at some point in the near future. Artificially intelligent music artist Xania Monet has gone viral recently after artist Kalani criticized the legitimacy of her $3 million record deal.
There's an AI R&B artist who just signed a multi-million-dollar deal and has a top 5 R&B album. AI can also make the entire song. It can sing the entire song. It can make the entire beat. This is so beyond out of our control. And nothing and no one on earth will ever be able to justify AI to me, especially not AI in the creative arts.
Xania Monet, who was created by the human artist Lisa Jones, has had over 17 million streams, has generated over $52,000 in revenue, and if that's not impressive, has also made the top 10 breakout artists on the platform Billboard. Now, her success has made artists such as Caesar and Kalani question, where is the future of the music industry now that artificial intelligence lives with us, and is this something that we really want to see in the future? We'll have to find out how this progresses, but for now, that is the end of WTF Web3 news, and we are excited to introduce our guest for our interview segment. We'll see you with the headlines next time. And welcome to episode 1 of WTF Web3. Today we have a very special guest on the show. We have Roman Potapenko. Hope I am pronouncing that correctly. He is an expert in AI. He is ex-PwC and currently the Chief Strategy Officer of Super Protocol, which is a confidential computing platform for AI agents and AI apps. So with clients such as Intel and NVIDIA, Roman is the perfect person to talk all things AI. So welcome to the show. Roman, how are you today?
I'm excellent, perfect. I cannot complain, Laura. Happy to see you. Happy to speak about AI and confidential computing.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. So AI, right? AI is everything anyone is talking about right now. It is all over the news, it is all over social media. We're watching it, we're eating up the content, and it's becoming this narrative that is living with us, right? It's not going anywhere. But in your definition, because it's still quite new, it's still quite a new concept to the mainstream. In your definition, what is AI? What is artificial intelligence?
That's a great question. I think it's important to look at it just as any technology that you have in the world so far. I think that AI would be a representation or a reflection, if you want, of how we as a society and as a humanity um, perceive the reality and how we choose what we focus on. Like in transportation, for example, we have all kinds of flights from London to New York in a comfortable setting. In the cloud applications, we have everything that we like. We have Spotify, we have Instagram, and all the types of content that we want to consume. And just with any other technology, that's what I'm trying to say, AI would be a reflection of what we like to do. And it's important, I think, to think as AI just any other technology that will complement the ways that we currently have for as a society to live.
Right, right. I mean, for you, you're in the AI space, you're building out technology, you're working with the clients. So it seems, you're very comfortable with it, you're working with it, you understand how it works. But I think for the everyday person, there is this massive fear and uncertainty about AI, in terms of it exploiting humanity, about it taking jobs. We just see in the headline artist Kalani, a music artist, she was criticizing the AI artist Xania Monet, who just secured a $3 million record deal. And there's real artists out there, human artists, who are struggling to get, seen. So a lot of people are afraid of AI replacing them or exploiting humanity. What do you think about that? How do we live with AI? And why are people so afraid of artificial intelligence?
That's a very interesting question, and maybe a combination of questions. I would say that we, as the first generation that is developing AI, we are responsible to put it on safe rails, of course. But at the same time, there are some expectations that might exaggerate the risks. For example, sometimes people tell, "Hey, how would we distinct from the reality and the AI artificially generated content, for example?"
Right.
And to that, I always think about like how do we distinct from the reality from the books and the actual reality that we live in? How do
Right.
we know that what is described in books or in social media comments is something that is a part of reality and or is not? And I would say that we are the first generation to go through and to learn how to filter all this content. And from the economic standpoint, I would say that the more important is to preserve the intellectual property rights on certain models and distinct from certain models and be sure that certain models create certain type of content and not other types of models, because you would create enough of an economic motivation for people to create these models and let the best models win.
Yeah.
To me, it's a artificial intelligence generated content is something that we will be consuming just as any type of content that we have. And maybe the last thing is that putting this on safe rails begins with the technology that you apply to this artificial intelligence content generation and distribution.
Right. So you're touching on the, ideas of models and agents and AI agents. I've been hearing this going around in the space. And I'm guessing, you work with companies that are building AI agents. But in your definition, what is an AI agent for someone who just has no clue?
That's a great that's a great question. I would say that's basically you can call any AI-powered assistance that you get an agent. It doesn't have to speak to you. It doesn't have to have any visual flair. It might be a car. We currently frame the thinking about agents as some tools on your desktop that help you work with Excel files or summarize your emails. But agents, those are and will be probably our assistants, our representatives, and the effective extension of what we can do normally throughout the working day. Popular definition is just a pipeline of models put together using some framework like N8N or any other agent building environment.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a assistant, a robot, and I guess that's the in my head, and I think for a lot of people, they see AI going into the realms of robotics, where you have like a personalized, Jeeves type assistant who knows everything about you and can, cook you dinner, can be your assistant, write you emails, make you content, and just do everything for you, right? I think that's the kind of futuristic vision. But before we get there, where is at the moment these models that are being trained, where are they getting all this data from? That seems to be quite a concern for people, is actually their privacy and the data that they're putting on like social media or health records are being used to train these AIs, I'm assuming. Where is this data coming from? And, how do we protect our humanity and our privacy?
I love this question, and I love the metaphor of Jeeves being your, everyday assistant that everyone would have their servant. And this is quite a sophisticated metaphor because Jeeves was in this setup, in this piece of literature, he was sort of the force that was also managing their relationships with his owner, and not an owner but his partner. So I would say if you need any meaningful assistance or if you need any meaningful collaboration with technology, you have to personalize it for whatever are your differences. For example, the AI assistants that help you with summarization or other easy to comprehend day-to-day use cases, they are as good as the data that they are trained on. Sometimes it's enough to use whatever ChatGPT 5 or paid versions give you. But in many cases, if you want a deeper help, if you want code assistance, there should be certain adjustments in how the model is fine-tuned and how this AI agent is trained. Generally speaking, we will connect these AI assistants to our data flow, day-to-day data flow, our emails, our photos, health information, financial information, family information, and all the other sensitive types of data. And here it's important to, as I said before, from the beginning, set it up in the right way. If you will get accustomed to sharing your data with anyone, with ChatGPT, with Perplexity, with Gemini, it would be like an extension of the world we currently live in, where your data is owned by Google, essentially. Having this infrastructure set up, and we call it self-sovereign infrastructure in Super Protocol, which is a type of infrastructure where you continue to be an owner of your data. You pass it to the AI workflows, and you allow to train AI assistants on it because this would be superior for you, but you still stay in control of your data. You never disclose it because of the combination of confidential computing and blockchain that we use. And because of that, your data stays yours while you still benefit from using the AI models and assistants trained on it.
Okay, amazing. And I guess it is very much, you're working with institutions, working with businesses, and sharing data in that sense. And obviously, they're getting data from their consumers. But yeah, just going into the institution, just we've got a few minutes left here. So in terms of institutions, Super Protocol is raising and has raised funds from some amazing institutional investors such as Animoca Brands, Generative Ventures, Zemi VC, Oracle Ventures. So what is it about Super Protocol that is attracting so much investment at the moment? What makes, what is it that they see in Super Protocol?
I would say that since there was an article on NVIDIA website that explains Super Protocol as a solution for self-sovereign AI, we receive a lot of interest from investors. So it wasn't hard for us to half close the current round that we're currently raising 8 million, and half close it quite quickly. The interest, I would say, it is coming from the us being vetted by largest institutions in the world. We are listed on NVIDIA website as an independent software vendor. We are also a part of NVIDIA Inception program. We also listed on Intel website as a solution for confidential computing. There are a lot of technical materials for the developer society, for the developer community in the internet, produced by thought leaders like, for example, Mike Barsel, ex chief security architect at Red Hat and the head of Confidential Computing Consortium. He's produced a lot of content to explain how this actually work for the technical folks.
Okay.
And this type of, I would say, validation is important for both AI developers and business people in the institutions to trust you when you begin certain pilots and certain collaborations. And maybe the last thing to mention is that we are an open source solution. We plan to fully open source in 2026 and build a business around implementing this solution. And it is important to understand that open source products generally are perceived by the market more openly because you can trust them, you can check them, you can verify that this is something that the foundation that we want to build on. The trust from the community that is based on the audits, that is based on the ability to check the code base. And this is something that we are focusing on, creating this sort of perception across the B2B markets.
Amazing. Okay, and just the last question, because obviously getting that endorsement from NVIDIA is incredible, and NVIDIA are doing amazing. Well, I just saw in the news, we just had in our headlines that they invested 100 billion into OpenAI. You just think, where are they even getting that money from? That's incredible. But OpenAI is now valued at the most valuable startup of our time at 500 billion. But what is next for AI in the next 5 years? Maybe just like a 60-second roundup, and you being in that loop of companies, like where do you see yourselves in the next 5 years?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. 5 years from now, we have completely personalized assistants that have access to all our data, that are actually ours and that are computed on the hardware that belongs to us. We do not have to own the physical piece of infrastructure, but we rent only this self-sovereign confidential computing localized part of the chip, so that not only the application that we're using, but also the computing stack belongs to us. It's like everyone before had a car, right?
Right.
Everyone has a house. Everyone should have a house. But you also have to have this piece of computing stack where the AI lives, only yours, having all the access to all your data. And this is something that can be created without you owning a GPU server in your backyard or in your garage. This is something that we as Super Protocol provide you with as an ability to book a certain confidential space in everyone's GPUs. That's the first thing. And the second is that the global cluster, the global confidential cluster that we create connecting these GPUs in confidential mode, this is something that you will see also in these 5 years. It will be used just as a regular cloud, but in confidential mode, only for zero disclosure, for sensitive use cases, where we will migrate with our data flows and with the applications, AI-powered applications that we run.
Amazing. Well, Roman, it's been amazing to have you on the show. An absolute wonderful expert. I will be putting Super Protocol's information in the video so that you can get in touch with him if you want to find out more and get involved with Super Protocol. But thank you once again for joining the show. And that is it for this episode of WTF Web3. If you liked what you see, go ahead and like the video, subscribe, share it with a friend. And if you want to get in contact with the guests today, make sure you go and check out the description and hit them up. But we'll see you next time. Have a good week.